Hello, I'm very much aware that I'm wearing a shirt with green imagery on it, which means that there's currently a gap in the middle of my chest. No, I cannot be bothered to go change my top into something which doesn't have green on it. You're just gonna have to deal with this gap in my chest. Why in The Elder did Chajin, voiced by David Harbour of Black Widow fame, tell his apprentice Dan that they were going to jump to hyperspace when they were already in hyperspace? That's the one thing I had in my mind. But hello, welcome to SquishiVision, where I'm about to give my thoughts on the last three episodes of Star Wars Visions. Just watched the last three episodes. This is my immediate reaction. I'm going to go into detail about kind of frame by frame analysis of the episode. It's not what we're here to do, not what I have to do. Just gonna give my immediate thoughts. Also show you my two cats, because why would you not want to see my two cats? You can also see my top without the hole in it. But we'll jump back to this badly lit green screen effect. I liked the last few episodes. There was a lot of really good choreographed combat, or at least there was a lot of short but very kind of beautifully animated combat in all three episodes. So the battle between the Elder and Tajin and Dan, the duel between Lop and Ochō, um, and well, it wasn't really a duel in Akakiri, but there was like a whole bunch of like lightsaber sword play that I felt was very well animated. I did enjoy the animated style of the last episode, and we had these three were quite dark episodes in like kind of have a well, I mean, so the Elder was very had a thriller esque, or even maybe actually straight thriller um kind of horror aspect to it. Like there was that degree of kind of threat and tenseness in an episode. Um with the what the Elder was gonna actually end up being and the build up towards the Elder. When they appeared, they delivered. They were quite a threatening, kind of menacing appearance. Very horror-esque. So I enjoyed that. And then in Lop Ochō, it didn't go the way that I was expecting it to go. Not all. I mean, I'll talk a bit more about it specifically, but yeah, in terms of the darkness, it ended off on a cliff. It ended off unresolved. Like we got no idea where these characters are gonna go next. We know who they all survive, but you know, um, Yasaburu is blinded. Ocho is still part of the Imperials. Lop's just standing there, not having got her family back. And then Akiri Flower ends with the villain winning. In very much, I guess it takes a lot of it takes. It's I mean at this point, I think it's pretty much a retelling of what ultimately happens in the broad strokes in I was about to say Backstroke of the West rather than Revenge of the Sith. Um, but ultimately, what happens in Revenge of the Sith with Anakin and Padme happens with Tsubuki and Misa. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I've commented a bit on what I like about the Elder. I mean, I got very strong kind of Qui-Gon Jinn vibes from Tajin's character. Very strong Obi-Wan vibes from Dan's character. Maybe a slightly younger Obi-Wan. I did remember reading a novel when I was about 9, 10 years old that was set um, pre the Phantom Menace with these two characters. Um, sorry, with one and my God, it reminds me a lot of them. Um, as I think David Harbour did a great job in kind of doing a very chill, relaxed, almost near monotonous character is hard. What giving that strong impression, but then also actually exuberating a degree of emotion in it. So I could feel when he was being warm. I could feel when he was being exasperated. I could feel when he was being. I mean, some lines didn't really land, like the whole "I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that" was very kind of flatly delivered. But some of the other lines were great, and the fear and some lines came through very very well. Um, and then yeah, the Elder character was quite intimidating and yeah, so the combat animation, the lightning animation, and what the lightsabers looked like, I enjoyed. So with Lop Ochō, I didn't quite follow the and I could feel the emotional beats. I knew what was happening emotionally. I knew what where the conflict was, and it was very interesting conflict. It's very kind of Japanese story conflict of division and family. You know how and fair. I mean, critically, I mean, I'm looking at this two perspectives here, but okay, in real life, the empire are meant to be analogies for imperialism and Nazism, and so obviously there is no middle ground when it comes to that is unequivocally to be condemned. But the argument Ochō makes is a very grey one, which you can see somebody who's disenfranchised with their environment, which is often what pushes people to get involved in imperialism and fascism. So in fact, actually, it's very much kind of actually, yeah. Saying out loud, it's very kind of actually, it's quite a very, it's not. Let my words kind of try to catch up to my brain here. Once again, Star Wars actually gives a very good and accurate and a logical depiction of how fascism works in real life. And it's kind of the same story that we get with some of the other characters in Star Wars. That but essentially, Ochō is disenfranchised with how their society is. They feel that they need to move on, but they feel like certain people are holding them back, so they gravitate towards an organization which is apparently singing the same tune. You know, and that's not defense, but that's how it's real life. People, that's how that's how people recruit. What's the word now? But that's basically how you recruit people into fascism and into from organizations. They get people disenfranchised and they persuade them in. Um, so you can obviously, it's a real life relatable situation for somebody to be in. Um, so I got that. There's a nice conflict to build on. I got the family conflict. I wasn't quite sure on, what the Empire were really offering Ocho, I guess is where it lost me. Or like what they were threatening her with, or those are the details. Those are the broad area of plot, and so that they were offering her something that she felt was the best course of action for her planet, even at expense of family. Or I felt that there was a threat that in obviously being just felt she thought this was the best way to go. I just wasn't quite sure on what was the kind of innuendo. I guess that was being mentioned by that imperial officer, voiced by Kyle McCarley, who was very interesting and a very Black Butler-esque character, who only appears in one scene but did make an impact. What is with this Japanese animation thing of people biting their thumbs and causing spurts of blood to come out? I really hate it. It makes me cringe, and I just don't like it. I don't know. It's just unnecessary complete stuff that one of the characters in Ace Attorney does it, and I really like it. I always look away whenever that happens. I just don't like the animation. Um, I did like this kind of the rabbit design of Lop, even if the name Lop is very kind of on the nose. Um, but I didn't do like the idea that because she's a rabbit-esque character, she's very she has a very low sense of gravity. She's just kind of very flighty. It was a bit weird at points because it looked like she was kind of one of the close from the faces, and she was kind of moving. I'm trying to imitate it. It's kind of like when she was talking, she was moving back and forth because there was no reference in the background. I wasn't sure. Well, it was actually. It was image in the background and wasn't moving, so it looked like she was like kind of walking, like she was kind of doing the same like gesture as someone who was like running, like kind of like this, but there's no movement. It kind of put me off. I don't know, but I guess I'm trying to make it look flighty, but it kind of looked like that. Um, yeah, so that's my thoughts on Lop Ochō. And then Akakiri, kind of yeah. I mean, there was a strong thematic plot in it about predestination. As far as some of it was on the nose with Chris Bucky's dialogue, but it was meant to be a story about combating predestination, um, and it kind of wrapped up very quickly. Like there was a lot of, I guess there was, I guess it was built in a certain way, but Chris didn't realize what it was building up to until the end, and then it kind of all wrapped up very quickly. It kind of caught me aside, but still, it was very. The foreshadowing was great and quite tragic, and I do like the tragedy of it. It's pretty obvious, I guess. You can tell from the body shapes of the character art designs that he was ultimately going to, bisect. Um, visa, and he does, and then obviously he's given the kind of temptation of bringing her back to life, and it's that, and yeah, I mean, it ends on that note, and it's quite a, for a series. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be season 2 of Visions. I'll see what Wikipedia says actually. Do, do, do. Don't see a vote to bear on looking at an older version of the page. As far as I can see, there's nothing confirmed about season 2 of Visions. So for and it's about none of the stories are meant to be connected to other stories, and very few of them are meant to be given like sequels. Or I think the only real one is one of the, I think the first episode. Oh no, the episode of the duel, which I think as the first episode has a story that's tied into it. But apart from that, they're all standalone things. So quite it's a standalone story, and for a standalone story that ends in an anthology series, quite dark note to end on. So I guess kudos to that. Yeah, so what's my thought on the series? Well, one of the things I was interested about was the whole canonicity of the series, and that, historically the whole big thing about canon and Star Wars, and I'm not talking about recent kind of uh, um, fandom menace aspect towards it. I mean, with the whole Disney coming along and abolishing the EU and the controversy that came along, and the whole justification of that was that everything was meant to be much cleaner canon with easy to keep track of. Now I've swapped. I was very against the EU being scrapped, but now I've actually agreed with Disney's approach of scrapping the EU and building their own new canon. I still think they should have a policy where, well, I think it's more because they ultimately did what I wanted them to do, where they take bits of EU which worked and then put it back into canon afterwards. And what I thought is everything that was EU was canon unless otherwise stated, or everything before the Phantom Menace was canon unless otherwise stated. But I guess they're kind of jumping around now. They've finished the sequel series, they're jumping around time a little bit more. They're able to reestablish things, and they're not disregarding EU things out of hand. If it makes sense to bring it back, and I'm for that. So I actually don't mind Disney's ultimately done. I don't think anyway. But it's interesting that they go through this whole effort of scrapping levels of canonicity to then bring some which is of dubious levels of canonicity. Canon. But as far as I can see, apart from obviously the art styles and how things are depicted, which we can ignore as an artistic style, I guess, or even not. I mean, a lot of Star Wars takes its inspiration from different cultures, and a lot of things, like for example in The Mandalorian, is clearly Star Wars a Western skin or Star Wars a Japanese skin on. So, but anyway, as far as I can remember from what I've seen, nothing really explicitly seems to contradict what I am aware of being currently being canon. These stories seem to be things that could have equally existed, that could have easily existed in the time periods they were set. Some of them are pushing it, but I mean, not world breakingly. I think the biggest kind of implication is that there were more Force users, more Jedi users around, past the purge. But again, this is always a thing anyway. We keep getting stories and we keep seeing more Jedi users. So I'm not particularly put by that actually. I mean, it's still considerably rarer things, and then some of them it's not clear where they're set, and they could easily be set like way, way, way in the past because we know it's ancient Jedi stories anyway. So I would regard this to be canon. I see no reason why I shouldn't. I'm going to head canon as canon even if it's not officially canon. Or at least I see no reason to discount it from continuity. I'm sure as Wikipedia gets written and I see more things about English, it makes me challenge that. But at the moment, I don't see anything about that. In terms of it as a series of its own, yeah, I enjoyed it. I think the animation was beautiful. Like the art style. I mean, it's anime. It's hard to be ugly. And I always said, I don't think any of animation style from anime does fight choreography justice. Certainly not 2D animation, and even I think the 3D animation that does combat justice is often taking inspiration from anime. So I enjoyed, and I might go back and watch a lot of the combat scenes, because certainly a lot of the combat in some Clone Wars and Rebels never really appealed to me, and some of it was okay, but most of it was kind of there. I think some of them were fine. but most of them are kind of like the same slash 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 slash. Whereas the films often have much I think well, one of the best animated fight scenes was motion capture, and I think that's the thing. Fight scenes are hard to animate. But motion capturing is basically filming. So filming and motion capturing are the way to do it. But I think you can get away with that in anime. But away from the combat, I mean, yeah, some of the stories. I think the middle three were probably my favorite in terms of. And I certainly think the Nine Jedi was like one which I was like, I want to see more of the story. Whereas and new ones were like, yeah, I'm kind of all right with this. Lily, you're kind of just appearing through an invisible wall here. And your blue collar is being keyed out. Okay, he's going to go bother my older cat. Okay, well now she's being cute, so I have to take a photo. So you have to. I don't know how I was sitting across from my green screen, but yeah, that's what happened there. And then reverse kicked her off the bed. Sorry about that. Definitely speaking to my friend. Um, yes, where was I? I mean, I get my thoughts, but I think, yeah, story wise, I mean, they're very kind of short snapshots of one event, and that's that's the way you do short films. I'm very much a long form narrative kind of person, though. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I, I have a very snappy but massively world building short form, I guess. Which is why I think things like the Nine Jedi was the favorite one, whereas the other one's a bit too open ended, I guess. Um, but yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed kind of the casuality, I guess, of it. Um, that was nice. So yeah, those are thoughts. Thanks everyone for watching. If we I said we as if I had any ownership over this creation of this. If they make a new series of this, I'll see you guys for my thoughts to that. Other than that, I realize I'm massively behind What If. I thought the episodes I finished releasing and I had time to catch up, but there were two more which I didn't realize were released. Oops. So that's something to do before Hawkeye comes out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.